Good evening. Welcome to the 2019 General Election Candidates Forum for Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte County. I am Merle Bland with Business West. Business West and Kansas City, Kansas Community College are the sponsors of this forum. Let me introduce the panelists who will ask the questions. They are Mary Rupert, the editor of the Wyandotte Daily Online, and J.D. Rios, a retired administrator with the Kansas City, Kansas School District. Candidates will have 1.5 minutes for opening remarks. Then the panelists will question the candidates. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond. Panelists will then have 1 minute for closing remarks. We'll start with introductory remarks with Ray Daniels. Ray?
Thanks, Merle. Good evening to everyone, and thank you for having the forum this evening, and thank you for all of you who are here and for you out there watching on the TV or cable. My name is Ray Daniels, and I've been involved with education in Wyandotte County for 53 years. My wife and I came to Wyandotte County in 1965. 40 years later, I retired from the Kansas City, Kansas School District after being with them for 40 years and spent the last 7 years the privilege to be superintendent of schools. The year after I retired, I was approached by some community people to run for the Board of Trustees here at the college. And since I was still really interested in education, I readily agreed and I was elected, and I'm running now for my 4th term, I guess, as an incumbent. I never really lost my interest in education. My goal was always, when I was with the school district and now with the college, is how do we make people, families, community better in Wyandotte County and Leavenworth County? And that's what the college is all about. Whether you're an individual or you're a family or you're the community as a whole, how can this college support you and help you be better, help you be a better family, help us be a better community? I think this college does a great job of that. We can do some things better, but what we're doing right now is pretty darn good. So I'm looking forward to another 4 years and looking forward to this conversation this evening.
Okay, Jamie?
Thank you so much, Mr. Bland, and to Business West, KCKCC, and all those who are here on tonight. Thank you so much for your attendance. I'm Jamie Johnson. I came to Kansas City in the late 1960s when my mom and her sister were recruited here to help desegregate USD 500, and I've been here ever since. I'm a product of the USD 500 school system. I have a master's degree in student personnel administration from the University of Central Missouri. I have a bachelor's in communication theory and human relations from Park University. I've worked at every level of education. I've subbed, I've worked at a community college, I've worked at a public 4-year institution. I'm currently at the University of Kansas in my 12th year. I work for the School of Journalism and Mass Communications as a graduate advisor for that program. I'm also the chair of our Diversity and Inclusion Action Group there. I serve on our Campus Equity and Inclusion Committee. I'm a part of the KU Graduate Advisors Network. Also in my first year as a Staff Senate Professional Development Committee member. In my spare time when I'm not being paid to do what I enjoy doing, I am a youth leader. I work with youth ages 3 to 30 and their parents. I'm also a new Girl Scout leader in Wyandotte County. So I enjoy working with young people, working with students, working with their family, and giving back. That's what I do. That's who I am. I spoke earlier about my family. My grandparents were college professors. My mother, her sister, and 2 of her sisters worked in elementary and secondary education. My father retired from the Army and then later from the U.S. Postal Service. And I have an uncle who received a nursing degree from a community college in Waco, Texas. So my family has been very involved in education and in the community, and so this is what I have done all of my life. I'm running for the Board of Trustees because I knew that at some point I would want to give back to my community in a way that I am passionate about. I love working with students. I want them to be successful. I want to be a part of a team that is making decisions and making plans that's going to not only be beneficial for the current students that we have, but we're looking down the road 5, 10, 15, 20 years to ensure that KCKCC remains a viable option for higher education, not only for high school students graduating, but for people who are in between careers, for veterans, for baby boomers who are wanting to go back to school, and even for those who just want to pick up a class here or there to expound and to expand their knowledge. As an elected Board of Trustee member, I am committed to 5 initiatives. One is to educate the community from pre-K to the grave, to prepare students for the workforce, to attract and retain a diverse set of students, faculty, and staff, make college more affordable, and then finally encourage efficiency and transparency. I think those things are vitally important, and I am committed to them. Thank you so much.
Pat?
Thank you, sir. My name is Pat Bruni. I'm a 4th-generation DOT in Wyandotte County. And I also want to say thank you to everybody involved in this. These things are never easy to organize. We think we have the hard part sitting up here, but we know putting them together may really be the hard part of this. Been in Wyandotte County all of my life, except for 1 decade when I had to live in Missouri because I was the person at the federal court that summoned the jurors and subpoenaed the evidence, and I couldn't sign my name to that document calling you to court if I didn't live in district. So for the last 10 years of my 31-year career with the court, I had to live in Missouri. I retired in 2009. Guess when I moved back? You remember 2008, 2009? You remember the economy right about then? I was trying to sell a house, buy a new one. I came home right in the middle of the Great Recession. I bought a new house. But I wanted to be home. I wanted to be back in Wyandotte County. I wanted to be where I belong. I have 3 words that I want you to remember with me this evening. Serve, educate, protect. Serve is what I want to do. I want to serve. I want to use the skills that I learned in my 31 years with the federal court. 18 federal judges in 5 cities across western Missouri, so I understand complexity. I think I can work well with a board of directors in a complex university setting here. I also have done a lot of community work with Leadership 2000 and the KCK Women's Chamber and my own homeowners association. Educate, well, that seems obvious, doesn't it? That's what we're doing here. Well, I think the role of the trustee is to educate the community about the opportunities that are available in a community college. This college can change lives with 1 course, or go ahead and get your 2-year degree, or get that first 2-year degree and go get another one. So education, I also want to promise the community, I will educate myself as to the best practices involved in running a community college so I can be a supportive member of the board. And the last word is protect. And I know that doesn't make much sense, except we want to protect the Board of Trustees. We want to protect the hopes and dreams of every person that walks through the doors of this institution looking for a way to make themselves better. And there's a level of protection just in the word trustee. Trustee means trust. We want to protect the trust of the public in the institution and in the financial operations of the institution. So thank you again for being here. I'm sure we'll have more questions. It'll get interesting. Thank you.
Paul?
Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody for just being here. I know it's been a long day probably for everybody, for everyone here, and I'm glad you're here to listen to what we have to say. My name is Paul P.J. Jones, and I'm a lifelong resident of KCK. I received my education in the Kansas City, Kansas public schools. I went to Bryant, I went to Northwest, I went to Wyandotte High School. I went on off to college. I went to Cloud County Community College where I received a associate's degree in business. I came back to Kansas City after my bachelor's degree for getting an education from the University of Arkansas, and then I came back to Kansas City, Kansas Community College and received 2 degrees in arts and fire science and associate of applied science in hazardous materials. I earned my master's degree in human resource and organizational development from Friends University. I've been recognized for profound commitment and exemplary conduct in the fire service. I have a special diploma from the Carl Holmes Executive Development Institute. I have qualified for the 1980 USA Olympic team. I was an honoree of the Friends of Yates Black Men of Distinction. I'm an honoree of the KCK Public School Reasons to Believe, and inducted into the Cloud County Community College Athletic Hall of Fame. I've been a substitute teacher for over 30 years. Prior to that, I taught for 2 full years. Went on to the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department, where I retired as a battalion chief on the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department. After those 30 years on the fire department, I went back to the school. I taught a full year at Argentine Middle School, and I was teacher of the year, substitute teacher of the year at Argentine Middle School my last year. I'm familiar with a lot of different organizations. I do a back-to-school parade and school supply giveaway every year before school starts. I'm the sports director of the Kansas City United Youth Sports and Education Initiative. I'm the president of the Northeast Optimist Club of KCK, a member of the Northeast Economic Development Corporation. I'm a member of the OK program as well, which mentors young youth. I'm a deacon and layman at Strangers Rest Baptist Church, and I did also coach 10 years here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College as well. I've been very, very involved in my community because I have a passion for it. I love my community, and I want to continue giving back because so many have gave to me, and that's my way of giving back.
Roz?
Thank you. Good evening to everyone, and thank you to the conveners this evening. My name is Rosalind Brown, and I am running for re-election for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Board of Trustees. I was appointed to the board in 2016 after the passing of Mary Ann Flunder, who was a great leader. I was elected in 2017 and has been a rewarding experience. I was raised in a family that were community activists, and I must say it had a positive effect on my life. I want to give back to my community in any way I can. I have enjoyed being a part of this organization, and I believe I have had a positive effect. I hate to say it, but I am not an original dot. However, I have lived in the community for 47 years, so I think I could be counted as a dot, and have no desire to live anywhere else in Kansas City other than Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County. This is a great community to be involved in. I was employed by the unified government for 33 years in housing and community development for 25, and later in the mayor's office for 8 years. I retired and have worked in my church and other community organizations. I would like nothing else but to continue to be a part of this board that approves strategic plan to guide the college to its centennial year in 2023. The board is enthusiastically looking forward toward the future of innovative approaches Kansas City, Kansas Community College is pursuing to expand resources and services throughout our community. Our desire is to create a culture of excellence. We want nothing less than to ensure the entire community has what it needs to improve their lives. My priorities are student success, quality services and programs offered here at the college, employee engagement with students and the community, community engagement to help determine the needs of our community. KCKCC's potential is greater than anything that we could imagine, and I want to be a part of that team that makes it happen. Thank you so much.
Now we will turn to the questions. Mary Rupert will ask the questions first of Roz.
Thank you. What needs to be done, in your opinion, to better prepare KCKCC students for the workforce?
Well, I think we are doing a great job right here in Kansas City, Kansas Community College. We are trying to find ways that our students can learn the things that they need to be prepared for the college. One of the things also, I was listening to the previous boards, and I was thinking we have got to learn to work together. There's no way that KCK public schools can move forward, and there's no way we can move forward if we don't work with those children that are coming our way. This is an affordable college, and I can remember myself saying, oh, I don't want to go to a community college. I want to go to a four-year college. But now that I've been through life and I see I could have given my parents so much back had I just listened to what they said. And we are an affordable college, and we have a lot of things to offer our students, and we are here for those students and I have said before, it doesn't have to be the young folks. It can be folks that have gone through some things in life and they've decided to come back to school and make a difference in their lives. And I can tell you, KCK is prepared to help every one of those students. We see them come through here on a regular basis saying, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do that. Once they get involved, we've got all kinds of programs. They are ready to take on life when they leave KCK Community College.
Paul?
I truly believe that KCKCC is on the right path. I've had conversations with several members and also the president, and I want to be part of that team that takes us into the future. I know we have to be prevalent of what's going on now and more innovative when it comes to having our students prepared, especially our high school students, because I think we need to work together with the districts to better prepare them for KCK Community College as well. Because if we don't do that, then we'll be in trouble then. But working together collectively and being part of a great team that has a process of doing certain things the right way, that's what I want to be part of.
Pat?
Well, I think there's already quite a bit going on here at the college in terms of helping our workforce. We have an amazing technical center, and I believe we offer over 100 different technical certificates to people. It's come to the time in our economy where 2-year degrees, 4-year degrees, that's one way of preparing for the workforce. But another way of preparing the workforce is, number one, real basic personal life skills. You walk in for a job interview, you look them in the eye, you shake their hand, and you acknowledge that you want to do right by them. Then, if you need that one more course to get a better job, come here to the community college, take that course. Get your certificate at the tech center. I think there were over 1,400 people that either graduated or got a certificate from this institution last year. At that rate, we can make this community a lot stronger and prepare everyone for the workforce.
Jamie?
I think one of the things that we could do, and I'm not sure if it's being done or not, but I think students have a better opportunity for success in the workforce when they've had an opportunity to shadow or a person that's already in the field or have had an opportunity to do some type of internship, whether paid or unpaid. I also think it's important that we continue to assess the programs to ensure that we have the right programs in place to prepare the students for the particular positions that are available in the workforce. In addition, I think it's important that we help students to see the connection with every class that they take that will help them be better prepared for the workforce. Because a lot of times, particularly with students that are taking one class at a time, or maybe take a class a semester, sit out a semester, then come back a semester and take a class, a lot of times they don't see the connectivity or the connection between what they're doing right now that's going to help them in the future. And I believe that faculty and staff, if they can help the students to see that connection, that our students can be more successful. And then finally, we've already talked about the programs that are already and resources that are already available at the college, but mock interviews, helping them to write their resumes, teaching them how to dress for success, public speaking, as Pat just mentioned, looking someone straight in the eye. Those are things that are going to be transferable wherever that student goes, and most definitely would help them in the workforce.
Ray?
Yeah, I think it all starts around student success, and Roz mentioned that earlier. And the college is really focusing on being sure that every student that comes into our doors, whether they're here for one class to just update a skill, or whether they're looking for a tech certificate, or whether they're looking for a AA degree and move on to a four-year school, we just have to be sure that every student that comes into this college has student success. The other thing we really need to be focused on is be sure that we're offering the right programs. And you do that by really reaching out, not waiting for the businesses to come to us. We go to the businesses and say, ask them, what do you need? What do our students need to be doing in order to be better prepared for your jobs? Community colleges are really flexible. You can't go to a four-year school and ask that question and think you'll get a response within about 3 or 4 years. Businesses should come to our college and sit down with Dr. Mosier and say, we need this skill for this particular skill in our job, in our company. The community college, with our tech school and with the programs we have in place, can make those shifts quickly and provide those opportunities and those classes and those skills that those students need to be able to get those jobs. So flexibility is going to be really important. The partnerships. A high school diploma is not going to be enough anymore, and so we really are reaching out to the high schools. We have a partnership with every high school in Wyandotte and Leavenworth County. But it's beyond that. It's really from birth forward, is how the community college work with all ages, all community groups, to be sure that ongoing education is taking place. Students are ready to come out of high school, ready to come out of college, ready to be a productive citizen, and not just in the business world, but also in the social world, be constructive people. So it really is looking at the culture of our college and being sure that what we're offering is meeting the needs of this community and meeting the needs of those individuals that are coming in here to take our classes. I think we're doing a really good job of that. The tech school is a wonderful program. If you haven't been out there to look at that, lots of good programs helping people. But this college is an economic driver and will continue to be an economic driver, and the workforce development is key for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll turn to J.D. Rios, who will ask a question, and we'll start with Ray.
First of all, thank you for your commitment in running or as trustee for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Having been a former trustee, I really hold in high regard the commitment you have to education and the community. Also, in 2023, there will be a milestone as we will be celebrating 100 years of service to our service area. A lot of people don't remember that it's not just Wyandotte County, but Leavenworth County as well. The question is, what do you see the college needing to do to prepare for the next century of service?
Great question, JD. I think we're already starting to do those kind of things. If you walk around our campus today, you're going to see some things that you might not have seen when you were in school, like me 50 years ago. You're going to see classrooms that are configured different ways, not necessarily the 5 rows and 5 chairs that are locked into place. You're going to see maybe students sitting in bean bags. You're going to see students maybe in small groups talking. You're going to see teachers not being the all-knowing person lecturing. You're going to see teachers in conversations with groups of students. You're going to see a different ambiance around the building. You're going to see making it a more friendly, open place for students to come in. But it's going to get back again to what I mentioned in the first answer. We're going to have to be flexible and be willing to take some risks and be willing to make some changes in order to meet the needs of the upcoming generations. I have no idea what business is going to look like in 2030, but I'm guaranteeing it's going to be a whole lot different than it is right now. And if colleges aren't willing to take some of those risks I talked about and have some of that flexibility, change their culture, change their practices in classrooms, change the way education is being delivered, and realizing that the technology is going to bring a whole different aspect to the education. So I think this college is looking at those things. We're begin to look at how we can change what happens in classrooms, how we can change what classes are being offered, what students can expect when they come to Kansas City, Kansas Community College. I think we've got a good start on that. We're not there yet, but the focus is there right now on not just 2021, but the focus is on 2023 and beyond.
Jamie?
Thank you for the question, Ray. I'm sorry, JD. What do we need to do to prepare for the next century of service? We've already talked about technology. We know that that is key. We have to stay on top of technology. Distance learning is important. I mentioned at another forum that we need to look at the ways that we offer the classes that we offer, not just classroom, in class, 16 weeks, but make sure that we look at classes that could potentially be 8 weeks. Sessions or hybrid sessions, in class, online, weekend classes. Over a course of 2 or 3 weekends, you can complete 3 credit hours. We also need to continue building our partnerships, not only with businesses, but with religious organizations, with other investors and stakeholders in our communities. That's going to help us advance the agenda of the college. I think we need to also consider making sure that our students are prepared for the global marketplace. A lot of times we are very much concerned with what's going on in Wyandotte County, but some of our students are going to go beyond Wyandotte County, and they need to be prepared to be successful and to compete in the global marketplace. Ray just talked about classroom structures, but not just a difference in the classroom structure, but even in our work areas. A lot of schools and work environments have gone to modules, and people no longer have offices, but they have a cubicle, or not even a cubicle, but they have an open space where everybody works from, and they take their laptop with them and their briefcase, and that's all they have. Nobody has their own workspace. So that's something that we need to consider as we move forward. I believe they're called free spaces. But I believe KCKCC is well on their way. We are well on our way to being prepared for 2023, and I just want to be a part of the team that continues to ensure that the systems that are necessary are in place, and that the programs that are necessary are in place so that we can be competitive, not only in what are we in now, 2019? 2019, but as we move to 2023.
Pat?
Well, I have to tell a little story. It may be an age-related problem that I have, but when I was working with the federal court in 1997, right here in the Midwest, we became one of the first courts in the country to convince attorneys and train attorneys to use that newfangled tool called the internet, so that they, instead of bringing paper to the courthouse, original and 2, please, original and 2 copies so I could stamp them. Instead of bringing paper, you could simply sit in your office and file over the internet. We had no idea at the time, as the generating court that did most of the training for the other 94 districts in the country, how disruptive that technology was going to be. We could not anticipate what that was going to mean, both internally to the court structures and externally to the attorneys, but most importantly to the public. Now they have access to everything instantly, just like the judge does. Guess what? Openness, scrutiny, transparency. My personal opinion is education is right on that same cusp. There's a reason for that long story. If you're familiar with the Khan Academy that's online, where the gentleman only wanted to teach his niece how to do work, and he builds these little 15 to 20-minute episodes of how to solve a problem, that may be what the direction that we'll end up going. I don't know that we can anticipate fully how disruptive the change and the rate of change is going to be for us in the future. Here's what I do know. This college and this Board of Trustees has strong leadership. They've already adopted a 5-year plan. That's going to be the key to how we operate. That's going to be the key to reacting to these changes as they keep coming at us faster. So I want to be part of being in that planning stage and helping us absorb this change as it comes to us. With all due apologies to my fireman friend, we're drinking through a fire hose now.
Paul?
Apology accepted. I think some of the things that the kids or the students needs is the soft skills for these jobs and things. 'Cause if they don't have the soft skills to get the jobs after they've been educated on it, and then by us going to the businesses so they can have those offers, we want to know what the businesses want, so that we can teach the kids the job that they want to get. I see it. I'm sorry, but the motivation and the passion that a kid has, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. You don't have to be just a young student, but it can be all human beings has a story. And if we're able to get to talk and communicate like we should as educators, and go to the students and enhance what they know and what we want to know from them, we can help them a lot better. And communication is going to be key to a lot of different things. I think going, like I said, not only to the businesses, but going to these students and telling them our story and them telling us their stories and how we can better fit them to get their education.
Roz?
All right, I do think we are well on our way to 2023. One of the assignments that we gave our new president was to get out in the community and find out what's going on out there that we can do and that we can do better. And he has done a phenomenal job in bringing that information back to us. One of the things that we have found out that there are jobs out there that we cannot fill, and there is no reason for that. We have the tools that we can help people be a success. We just need to get busy and make sure that they know that these things are available to them. One of the things that I said when I was first asked to be a member of the board, I was appointed, and I said, I drove by that school. I said, I've been here 47 years, and it never fazed me. But once I got into these walls and got to hearing the things that was going on, I said this was one of the best kept secrets in Kansas City, Kansas. And we have done a great job of getting the word out in the public relations of the kinds of things that we are offering and letting people know that you have a gym right here in your own community. You don't have to go any further than right here than KCK Community College. And one of the things I also said that we need to just continue to work with the people in our community. One of the things I have said that I want to engage the teachers, the faculty and staff to get to know the community they are working in. How can they help the students if they don't know where they're coming from? So that's one of the things that I say, that we can work together. We can make this thing happen right here in Kansas City, Kansas. We don't need to go any further than right here in Kansas City, Kansas Community College.
Okay, thank you. Our next question will come from Mary Rupert, and we will start with Roz.
Thank you. What are your thoughts on satellite campus in downtown KCK for KCKCC?
I am ecstatic. I'm ready for us to go down there. I think this would help the entire community. The fact that we are willing to think about it, I think, is just phenomenal. I don't think it had ever been talked about before. Everything was coming out this way, so everybody needed to come this way. One of the things that we've also done with our students, their student ID is also a bus pass. And so we have made efforts to help them get here, but why not go where they are and help them be successful? I just think we're looking at some great things happening down in the inner city, and I'm looking forward to it.
Paul?
I think it's a plus. I think I'm all in for it. I think by bringing the satellite to the homes, everybody spends time on TV every day and everything, and by bringing them, I think we can not only educate the students, but everyone in that household as well.
Pat?
I was having coffee with a leader from the northeast part of town down at Chips and Coins down on Minnesota Avenue. And we were just talking education in general. Where do you think it's going? Now, neither one of us are educators. I did some teaching at Donley. I taught a community course there with Carol Marinovich and Susan Kime, but just spitballing. What do you think about education? It's going to turn into a kind of a one-on-one experience at some point. You're going to reach out to that individual student, as you've heard our other candidates say, what do you need? Where do you want to go? Let's help you get there. Having the downtown facility, for some of us, it'll be like going home. That's where the college started, and we need to go back there. But it also gives us a very solid landing place to do that one-on-one outreach into communities that may or may not take the bus out here to the suburbs, as we call them. So I'm very much in favor of it. I think it could be it could be a public-private partnership so that the financing of it could be arranged, but I'm definitely in favor.
Jamie?
I too am in favor of a downtown campus. At the beginning of my campaign, almost 8 months ago, one of the things that I would say was that I wanted to find ways to eliminate obstacles and barriers to success. And I think by having a downtown campus, that would definitely eliminate an obstacle and a barrier to student success. And so I'm very much in favor of it and looking forward to the future.
Ray?
I'd like to point out that we've already made a run down that area anyway. We opened some classes at Wyandotte High School this year to try to begin to have a presence in the eastern part of the city. That's a beginning, and we're happy to have that. We've got several classes down there now after school for people in the community, not necessarily high school students, but anybody in the community. Yeah, the campus is a great, actually it's been in conversation for quite some time, but just not serious conversation. We've kind of kicked it around a few times, but never was really able to come up with any concrete plans. But I think the campus, the downtown campus obviously would bring some really important things. In the previous session, if you were listening, JD gave some pretty stark statistics about people without college degrees and people without high school degrees. The vast majority of that is in the eastern part of our county. And so that's where there's a really strong need for people to have an opportunity to gain more skills, to gain more education, to be able to take those good jobs. If they can't get out here to this college, we need to go down where they are and offer them those kind of opportunities. So I think it has great potential. It's not finalized yet. I can tell you it has created lots of energy. It seems like about every meeting I go to, somebody asks that question about where are you coming on the campus. And I won't mention any names. You might talk to Dr. Mosier later, but there's a number of organizations that have approached the college with an interest in partnering with a good facility downtown. So we think it's going to happen, not overnight, but we think we're going to make it happen sometime in the next few years.
Thank you. Our next question will come from JD, and we'll start with Ray.
All right, actually, I want to follow up on a point that you made.
Thought you might.
Because there has been a discussion, frankly, for almost 10 years about the downtown campus. But behind statistics are real people. And while we can bring the campus to downtown, when 45% of those individuals don't even have a high school diploma, don't qualify for community college enrollment, and then much less for the jobs that are sitting vacant out there. I'm wondering more about what the guidance is from the board, or your train of thoughts for those of you that are not on the board, on services that would be provided in this potential facility, and even before the facility, because that takes some time to build.
Yeah.
But people needed services yesterday, not just for tomorrow. So the question is, what services can we provide that will help those that do not have their high school diploma, so they lack, and some of them, of course, even lack some residency. But they are members of our community services.
Yeah. Well, the obvious one is the GED program, and the college does offer a GED program. There are a number of organizations around the city that do offer GED, and that's the opportunity for people who do not have, adults who do not have a high school diploma, to go back into a program and take some classes and actually get their high school diploma so they can go forward. I think it's also, there are classes we can offer that don't necessarily require a high school diploma. When you look at a welding class or a plumbing class, some of the certificate type classes, I think there are a number of programs we have at the tech school that we just need to be sure, one, people are aware of them, that people in the community are knowledgeable about the fact that there are these programs out in the tech school that they can take and get good jobs. So I think part of it is a public awareness campaign, and I think, again, you go back to the partnership areas, you start talking to the businesses. Jamie mentioned the faith community, the philanthropic community, all the communities that's in the community. You have those conversations with them about, do your constituents know that the college has these programs, or do your constituents know that they can go to this program in the community and get the necessary skills to have a job? The jobs are there. One of the frustrations in Wyandotte County for businesses is there's a lot of really good quality jobs sitting out there that they can't find people to take them. The community college, I think, like all of us, have a responsibility to try to get our citizens to the level where they can take those. So I think some of those services, JD, and it's one of those things, again, I think we've got to be pretty creative. We can't just keep thinking in the same way we've always done it. What are some services, and I don't have the answers tonight, what are the services down the road that we can offer with high schools and other organizations that will provide those kind of opportunities for our citizens that don't have the degrees you're talking about?
Jamie?
I would agree. The most obvious would be GED classes. In addition to that, ESL classes, I think, are services that can be provided for those potential students. I think tutoring may be necessary for some students. I think counseling services for any number of, we have counseling center here at the college, but we would probably need some type of counseling services available to those students in that part of the community. May even need to figure out how to provide childcare for parents who are needing to take classes, depending on what time of day those classes are. Potentially have some kind of arrangement with transportation services to make sure that people have a way to get to the campus so that they can take advantage of those classes. And I mentioned earlier just the general resume writing, dress for success, public speaking, those things that are going to make that individual more confident as they are pursuing their GED and preparing to take on those jobs that are available.
Pat?
Well, I agree with everything they all said, but I want to talk about the bigger issue, and again, I think it's about outreach and listening to the community. If we've got a population that only 45% of them have graduated from high school, let's go meet them where they are, the one-on-one that I've been talking about. Let's find a way to make sure that we, the community college, and the community are helping to lift them up in some way. We can name a lot of specific programs that we could work on. You've heard some of them here. Some of them are really obvious. In my previous work with the federal court, I had the opportunity to give the oath of allegiance to new American citizens. That's one of the things we did, was naturalize. They teased me when I was retiring that I had made over 5,000 new Americans in my term. They have to learn how to get through those classes. There's outreach we can make to that community. I'm guessing that 45% without a high school diploma is probably a very diverse community, so we can find a way to do that. And we may, in fact, already have a program like that here, and I'm just not aware of it. But this is the most diverse community in the state. It's the reason Google chose to come here, because they knew the rest of the world was going to look like us eventually, and they wanted to see what it was going to be like. So everything we can do to reach out and answer those diverse needs. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it.
Paul?
First, I want to apologize for that last question about the satellite. I was way ahead of myself as far as my thought process was to basically think about the future, what we can bring into the homes as well too. So I was more looking at little bits that we can put on TV to innovate and communicate with the people to get them more involved and us to have a better reaction, a connection with them as well. Because that's one thing that I would like to do is go into the community and make sure that everybody's knowledgeable and know what the resources that we do have.
I would say that the fact that we can get rid of the stigma of GED. I think people for a long time didn't want anybody to know that they had not finished high school. And now we can look at it, this is an opportunity for you to be successful. Don't look at it as a negative. And we're going to help you in any way we can to be successful. So I think the positiveness of the GED programs, and I have attended some of the GED graduations here, and oh my goodness, they were as excited as somebody that got their official degree, you know, and that's wonderful. We want them to feel good about themselves, and I think that's the part that the community college can play, that we can be there for all the people. One of the things is keeping an open mind, making sure you do listen to the people in the community. I heard somewhere that we're always telling the community what they need. Let's give them an opportunity to tell us what they need, what they want, and see if we can't come together at that and make sure that we approach everybody as an opportunity to be the success that you always want to be.
Now we'll move to the candidates with their closing remarks of 1 minute, and we'll start with Roz.
All right. Well, one of the things I said, I wanted to make sure I said that what happens here in the heart of America can change America. And let's be that change agent. And I said I would like for you to vote for me because I'm committed. I'll give you all that I can give to make things successful. I'm consistent. You don't have to worry about where I am because I'm going to be there. You can count on me. And one of the things that I said about Kansas City, Kansas, I have a heart for all of the people. One of the blessings for me was that I was working at the unified government, and so I saw all of the community. I didn't see a portion here and a portion there. I got to see the entire community, and there are needs throughout this community, and I want to be a part of making the change. Vote for me on November the 5th, Rosalind Brown.
Okay, Paul?
I want to ensure that the community are aware of all the opportunities that KCKCC has to offer. I want to ensure that KCK is innovative and has a visionary for the future. I would like to use my talents to work with the board, all the board members, on its strategic plan, student progress and satisfaction to assist in monitoring employees, students, and the community data. Support, monitor, plan college expansion, help with the connection with the community, and to ensure our college is on the right path for success for our students.
Okay, Pat?
Well, I started earlier and gave you 3 words, and I won't quiz you right now, but the words were serve, educate, and protect. And if you elect me, I'm going to concentrate on those 3 words, serve you the best way I can, educate myself as to the best possible outcomes at a community college, and protect the resources that are given through taxpayers in the state to supply this institution. One little aside, I've never done anything like this before. I've never run for political office. I couldn't. I was in the federal judiciary. You're not political, regardless of what it looks like publicly these days. I had to stay away from it. So when I decided to get in, it was because I thought I had skills that I had learned in that career that would be of benefit in this role, and I wanted to get in. What I never expected, I'm not a real good glad-hander. I'm not good at running around, shaking your hand, going, vote for me, vote for me. But I have loved, absolutely loved, getting to know these people that are in this race with me, getting to know the candidates for the other positions in the forums. We are so blessed in this community right now. We have a wealth of people wanting to get engaged and wanting to get involved. Here's my closing line. You can't make a bad decision. There's 6 of us running for 4 positions. So here's my advice. Vote for me and 3 others.
Okay. Jamie?
Again, I'm Jamie Johnson, your candidate for the KCKCC Board of Trustees. I'd like to thank the organizers and each of you for being here and the candidates for running a clean campaign. You all know that I am an educator, but I am a church girl by heart. Scripture says, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the heavens. I believe that it's my time and my season. My education and experience demonstrates my commitment to student success. I believe my purpose is to support the president and hold him accountable to ensure the procedure and policies, services and programs, and that all funds are spent in the best interest of our students, faculty, staff, and community. To collaborate with the board to ensure we achieve our goals, and to connect with the community, businesses, agencies, and other stakeholders to ensure KCKCC remains a viable option for future students to experience success and prosperity. My name is Jamie Johnson, and I ask for your vote on November 5th.
Ray?
You know, my wife and I came to Kansas City, Kansas in 1965, knowing nothing about this community, and honestly, we only thought we'd be here 2 or 3 years and would be off somewhere else. Well, my wife taught at Wyandotte, and I was at Northwest Junior High School, and frankly, we just fell in love with the students and the people we were working with in this community. So here, 54 years later, my wife and I are still here. We are retired, happily in Wyandotte County, and wouldn't want to live anywhere else. This is a wonderful community. Lots of great things are happening here, but there are a lot of challenges in this community that need to be addressed. A lot of it focuses around education or the lack of education for too many of our citizens. This college, in partnership with a lot of groups we've talked about, can make a significant impact on the well-being of Wyandotte and Leavenworth County. I've been a part of that for 12 years now, and as I said earlier, I've been in the education system for 53 years, so I bring a lot of knowledge about the community and education. I'm just looking forward to the next 4 years. I think we have some wonderful things happening on this campus right now. The future looks really bright. I think we're going to be a really positive, even more of a positive force in Wyandotte County than we are now, and I'm really looking forward to the future. So, Ray Daniels, hope you'll find it in your heart to vote for me on November 5. Thank you.
I want to thank the candidates for appearing here tonight, and we are adjourned.